daycare in Cuba. What a project that was. In the spring of 2018, Asel and Lisi come to the United States. And this is Alici's first trip. As we were showing them around the Southwest District, we had went to the Inglewood Methodist Church. The Inglewood Methodist Church has a great daycare there. And it was about the second day or third day that they were in the United States, and Lisi had already been to the Publix and Walmart and had seen things that her eyes had never imagined before. And I learned that the United States is not the United States that she had been told in Cuba. But when she was at the daycare in Inglewood, and we were standing outside the classrooms, and the kids were holding hands, going around, Jesus loves me, this I know, singing. You could see Lisi's eyes. And all of a sudden, you could see the tears. We went from classroom to classroom filled with beautiful children. We went outside to the playgrounds. And Lisi's comment was, I would love to do this in Cuba. Oh, this is not going to happen in Cuba. You can't have Christian daycare. You can't have a Christian school. You can't do this in Cuba. You don't say can't when you got God on your side, because he's bigger than all your problems. So I made a trip down to Havana to talk to the bishop and see if this was even something that would be possible, and to get his approval to have it in Mayari. As I was explaining it to him, he says, oh, no school. And he changed the technology from school to daycare. And in about the middle of the conversation, he all of a sudden goes, a high five. Yes, do it. Got to get his approval. Like I said, nothing is impossible when you have God on your side. So we went back to the United States. And met with met with the board of directors of the Southwest District Mission Program, met with coordinators in different churches, and started a fundraising campaign to raise funds for the establishment and to get this daycare going in Mayari. I approached Pastor Vic Willis at that time at Inglewood to see if I could receive a portion of the Christmas offering, which is always a big offering, for it to go to a Christian daycare in Cuba, realizing this is the first Christian daycare in Cuba in 60 years. 60 years. Pastor Vic approved it immediately. In November of that year, we had a trip. I think it was November of that year. We had a trip in Nancy Prince, chairperson of the mission committee, went down and she presented Lisi in a cell with the first $2,500 to start remodeling and construction of the daycare. Actually, in Meyer Reed, the buildings were all there. They had to be made ready for daycare. They had to be painted, drop ceiling, air conditioning, cleaning of the places because it was basically storeroom, fixing of roofs, many obstacles to even get to the daycare. And then the Christmas offering come in, and as Inglewood always, it was a huge offering, and all of that was taken to Meyer Reed for the establishment of the daycare. Other churches, East Naples, I'll forget somebody, Faith Church, other churches, and forgive me, and individuals started making donations to go to the daycare. It took quite a while because a lot of this stuff could not be bought in Cuba. The air conditioners could not be bought in Cuba. The cell had to go to Mexico, I think, to pick them up. But on October 16th, 2018, was the open house for the opening of the daycare. There was 12 children. And we started with just, we wanted small children. I think like 6 months to 3 or 4 years old. Or 4 or 5 years old, something like that. And we were there, the travelers and the parents of the children that were going to be there in the first day. Many toys had been purchased, many Bibles, a television, a furniture. I mean, it was a beautiful, and still is, it's a beautiful room. And the kids just didn't know where to go because they'd never seen so many toys before. They maybe have one, but it was American. There was more than one toy. There was many things to play with, and biblical CDs, biblical color books. The Christian aspect was covered very, very thoroughly. And the parents, I remember that I went around and congratulated and thanked them for trusting us to take care of their most precious gift, God's gift, their children. And one couple that has a bed and breakfast that I stayed at, or we have stayed at many times just outside of Meyer Reed, had 2 boys in there. And they said to me, they thanked me so much that this is the only place in the country of Cuba that has Christian preschool. Again, don't use the word school. Christian studies for children this age. And they had 2 children in there. And they just thanked us so much for that. You know, this is the first time that Cuban children got to hear about Jesus Christ rather than about the Cuban Revolution. The first opportunity to read and hear stories about Jesus Christ rather than, like I said, the revolution. This is 2018. The school is still going great. This is 2020 when I'm recording here. And this is what's going to change Cuba. You're going to change it with these children. I was there at the first anniversary And there were 16 kids there. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience to see the kids dance around. Christian education for Cuban children. Again, this is what will change Cuba. This is the changing that is happening in Cuba to bring Christ to the forefront, started by the Southwest District Mission Program in 2018. Wonderful experience, and thank you. We named it Lisi's Dream after Lisi because it was her dream to have a daycare in Mayari. And Lisi's Dream plaque is still on the wall in Mayari with these children. And part of her is there also. We thank you so much. God bless.